Hello, I'm Lauren, that awkward plant girl. Welcome back to my channel. It's so good to see you guys. Thank you guys for popping in. Today we are going to be doing an orchid terrarium. It's a jewel orchid terrarium with a couple of different varieties of jewel orchids today. Maybe we'll toss in a couple other terrarium plants. I need to rework a beautiful little round terrarium. So we're going to clean that out a little bit and add in some jewel orchids, talk about them, talk about some other plants, and it's just going to be a fun, relaxing time. I'm pretty excited about it. I've been wanting to do this for a while. The orchids that I'm wanting to put in this terrarium are from Ashley ATL Plant Room. You can check out the houseplant unboxing over here if you want to see exactly where they came from. They are gorgeous plants. I do have one of my own Ludicea discolor that I'm going to add in there as well. So before we really get started, I do want to thank our sponsor, indoorgardening.com. They're absolutely fabulous. More on them later. So this is the beautiful terrarium that we're going to be working on today. It does have a little cork top. It's just a decorative thing I got from a big box store. This terrarium I actually put together in a video for indoorgardening.com a while ago. The green in here is mostly decorative moss. It is not the most prettiest thing. I would prefer real live moss, but we'll add that another time. Today I just want to kind of shuffle that on out of here and add in some jewel orchids and just kind of redo this little thing, and we're going to get it all cleaned up. You can see here that there's a pretty Ludicea discolor in there already. Oh, there's a philodendron Brazil cutting in the back here as well, and there are some Salaginilla in here and some string of turtles. So we're just going to kind of shuffle things over and go hunt down some jewel orchids. Let's get into it. So this is my little terrarium area over here, and then I have the Ludicea discolor tucked down in here. Got some Camposportuanum and some Peperomia frost in there. There's also some other Peperomia, and there is a Monstera that I grew from seed in there as well. There's an incredible Scindapsus propagation, and right down there is our goal, the beautiful jewel orchids. Alright, and we have all of our jewel orchids now, so we can go ahead and chop and prop these in just a little bit. But first things first, we do have to clean out this terrarium. The first thing I'm going to do is remove all of this fake moss out of here. It does trap moisture and make it look nice, but I want things to be growing on top of it, so I do want to get all of it out. It can be reused for another project, and it was very nice and fun for this project. It's definitely something that can be used again and again. For the long term, it can get a little moldy over time. It just depends on what you have going on. So I want to make sure that I'm getting everything out and just kind of starting fresh with this. This was a really cool project that I did maybe about 6 months to a year ago for indoorgardening.com. Wrote a whole article, did a YouTube video for them about it. It's very fun, very cool. They are also the sponsor of today's video, so I do want to talk about that really quick. Indoorgardening.com is an online website. They are committed to providing the very best quality information and product recommendations to help you succeed as an indoor gardener. Whether you're new to the indoor gardening or seasoned pro or hobbyist, you'll find tons of great resources there. You can browse articles, check out the care guides and how-to posts, and you'll find many resources to help you on your journey. Now that I got everything out of that terrarium, I am trying to decide which little house to put in here. This pink one with the purple flowers is so cute. I picked up a couple of these at the dollar store. They're very inexpensive. They'll be fine for the plants in there. They are super, super adorable. Next, I really liked this little mushroom hat. I don't know if I like the flower on the door, but I like the little mushroom house. It's super cute, and it's got a little chimney sticking up. I feel like it could be a lot of fun. And then this one over here in the middle was giving me Hobbit vibes. It really was, with the little door and the mushrooms. It's also thinner. I think I might go with this one just because I feel it'll fit better in the terrarium. Thinking maybe up at the top of the rocks or something. The other ones are a little bit more big and bulky. I feel like maybe they would work better in a bigger terrarium. Let me know what you think. I can always change it out. This is one of the plants that I want to put in there. This is a Pilea, friendship Pilea. I think they're also called like a Norfolk Pilea. They're super, super cute. I took this tiny little cutting because they will get larger the longer they're in the terrarium. So I'm just going to use a small one this time around, and then we'll kind of go from there. I also want to do string of turtles. This is my propagation of string of turtles, and it's gone absolutely insane. I freaking love it so much. I keep it in a northern facing window, and I just tossed a couple string of turtles in there and it blew up like crazy. So we're going to take a couple cuttings from here, and then we're going to put them in the terrarium. I also want some ferns of some kind. This is a fluffy ruffles fern. I have some Hoya kind of propagating in here as well. They were in plant mail. That'll be in a vlog later. And then I've got maidenhair ferns in here. And then I also have a rabbit's foot fern. This is Bilbo, my rabbit's foot fern, protecting him from some spider mites down in the bathroom. So I just moved him up here. But I think I'm going to need a couple of these. Alright, so I was able to find a little golden Boston fern, so I'm going to put that in. This is just a little runner propagation, so that's going to grow really well in there, and it's going to stay small for a while. And then this is just a little runner from the Fluffy Ruffles fern. So you can see it's got a very intricate and interesting shape while it's unfurling. It's really cool looking. And then I have all these strings of turtles. I don't know if I'll use all of these. Whatever I don't use, I can always toss back in. But you see they've got the little turtle shell on the Peperomia prostrata leaves. They're so cool. This is some Salaginilla, also known as a peacock fern. And then this is a piper that was gifted to me. Piper permatum, I believe. I'll put the name on the screen. I don't remember. Then we're just going to use a tiny bit of moss because it's going to grow and encompass the entire thing later. Alright, so next we're going to take care of this jewel orchid. There are two different kinds of jewel orchids in here. I don't know what they are. They were gifted to me, so if you happen to know, please go ahead and comment it down below. I would love to know exactly what these are. They are getting rather huge though, and I do have to chop them. I use the big shears for these because they are very thick and fleshy stemmed. They need the bigger shears in order to get through them. And I am making sure that I'm leaving 2 nodes per cut. I'm not trying to get rid of any of the nodes. They propagate really easily and very well in high humidity situations. This one's just going to pop off, I think. Yeah, that little pup wasn't too attached. These are terrestrial orchids, so they grow really, really well in sphagnum moss and lots of moisture. And they'll propagate really easily. I've propagated them in sphagnum moss. The top cuts always do really well, and then the bottom cuts without any leaves always take months to root and grow. Mine rooted before they pushed out leaves last time. I don't know, that was just one specific type of jewel orchid, a Ludicea discolor. I don't know if these ones are the same. I am assuming so since they look similar, they grow similar, so I'm going to assume that the growth habits and propagation habits are going to be the same. But I am going to use the top cuts in the terrarium, and then I'm going to be propagating these bottom cuts. And then what I showed you in the cup is actually going to continue to grow, and they'll get bigger and bigger over time, and I will eventually have to pot them up. I'm just not prepared to do that yet. So this one I'm kind of debating where I want to cut it. I think I'm going to cut it there so there's a little curve for the roots, and you can see how thick the stem is. It's a gorgeous stem. This plant is so beautiful. It's very hefty, very durable plant. I love it. Next, I want to go ahead and take a look at exactly what's left in here. This is a pilea of some kind. I'm not sure. Maybe a dark mystery pilea propagation. And then the Brazil I think I'm going to take out. And then there's this Ludicea discolor. Those are the only plants left in here. This soil is a little dry. It's not going to be humid enough to really propagate any cuttings, so I think I am going to give it water and kind of clean up the rocks a little bit and just get a feel of what's really going on in here. And clean up the sides a little bit. I also want to top it with some worm castings. This is going to add a little bit of darkness to really make the cuttings pop. It's also going to lock in moisture and add nutrients. I like to normally add this worm castings into my soil mix for my terrariums, but because I didn't do that before, I'm adding it in now, and it'll be kind of like a topping, and then I'll just go through and I'll add the plants where I want them for the most part. I am going to move this because I want to put the little house up there. So here we go. See, it's going to be like going up the steps. It's like so cute. Oh my gosh, it's like we're going to visit hobbits. It's so adorable. I love it. And then I'm going to stick this Brazil kind of off to the side here. I kind of want it to trail down. This is going to look a little bare at first because all of these are cuttings and smaller plants. They haven't really popped off like crazy. I will show you another terrarium that I did similarly with the cuttings at the end of this. So just know that it's not going to look super full right away. Things take time, but these are going to grow bigger and quickly. I'm going to add the piper over here. I think it's going to grow more vertically. And I think it's going to add a different texture compared to the jewel orchids, and it's going to add kind of a leafy tree-like feel versus the vertical, I don't know, more minimalistic of feel of the jewel orchids there. Sorry, losing my words here. And then I'm going to stick this fern right over here. This is a fluffy ruffles fern. It's going to really fill out over here. It's going to be really cool. Adding a really nice backdrop. I'm kind of hoping it'll go behind the house over there. And then I'm doing the same thing on the other side with that golden Boston fern there. It's going to look super cute. I'm just tucking it in really deep because it already has some little roots from that runner. And it's going to pop off. It's going to go crazy here. So I'm excited. And it's going to add a different color. This is the sphagnum, or I'm sorry, this is the moss. So I'm going to add that to the front. I'm not sure what kind of moss it is. I harvested it from another terrarium, honestly. So, and then I'm going to add the Salaginella. These are both going to go crazy around the edges in the front. They're going to add a lot of depth. The Salaginella will grow very, very quickly up, adding a lot of greenery. And then the moss is going to add a completely different texture to the Salaginella in the middle there. So I'm hoping that the moss will kind of grow up around the rocks. And if it doesn't, then I can kind of propagate it and put it in between the rocks as we grow. So we'll see how that goes. I also want to stick these little string of turtles in between because they're going to add a little bit more ground cover. Maybe they'll kind of go around the rocks and flow down. It's going to be pretty interesting to see. I'm not sure exactly what they'll do. They kind of have a mind of their own most of the time. As you saw with that jar, they just go crazy. So we're just going to leave them right here and they're going to look super, super cute. And then now it's time for the Ludicea. You can see I'm making sure that the nodes with the roots are going deep down in there. So that way they can fit. And then I'm trying to make sure that I'm turning it so the leaves are going to be situated where I want them to grow because it's going to continue to grow up and out. So maybe cause like a little overhanging. And this is kind of what it looks like for now. Everything's going to grow in a bit more. I know it's not as green as it was before with the fake moss, but we've got real living things in here now. They're going to grow prolifically now that they have the humidity and the moisture that they need. And I think it just looks so cool. So amazing. Absolutely fabulous. Okay, so this is that terrarium that I was telling you about before where I put in just a couple small cuttings and you can see that in less than a year it has taken off like crazy. You can see there's the same Philodendron Brazil. I have a little maidenhair fern in here too. There's some peperomia that have gone crazy in here. It's just filled out so much that this actually needs to be trimmed back. You can't even see the log that I put in the middle of it either. And then there's this little fern. This was a single little leaf when I put it in here. This thing looked so bare. And now it's so full and lush and beautiful, and I really got to trim it. You can find articles on indoorgardening.com for the terrarium that we built today. I wrote an article over there, and then there are a couple other terrarium articles as well. They are starting to add more and more terrarium information over there, so be sure to check the website regularly if you have other houseplants that you're caring for like I do. There's also many care guides over there on how to help you grow your plants. Definitely an amazing resource you should bookmark and save for later. If you want to know more about terrarium plants, you can check out my terrarium playlist right here. I'll also have a video coming out shortly, if it's not out already, on underrated terrarium plants, so be keeping an eye out for that. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!